Welcome to the deep dive. We know you're always looking for that roadmap, to shift from just kind of existing to really living. And today we've pulled together some really intense blueprints for making that happen, for personal transformation.
That's right. We've looked at sources covering, everything from these focused short-term pushes like a 100-day sprint all the way to more systemic 6-month total overhauls.
Yeah, and our mission here isn't just about motivation. We want to give you the actionable strategy. We need to pull out those non-negotiable steps, the things you absolutely have to do to grab control of your time, because it's so limited, right? And the sources we looked at, they kick off with maybe the most urgent question there is. Are you really living your life, or are you sort of just letting it drift by?
And that really forces you to confront the clock, doesn't it? The brutal truth. Time isn't just, something you have. Time is your life. It's the ultimate zero-sum game.
That's a stark way to put it.
It is, and the sources make this chilling point. When you waste time, you're literally tearing up pieces of your own limited existence.
Wow. I think most of us get that intellectually, but feeling it,
Yeah.
that's different. We fall into that procrastination trap, don't we? That little voice saying, I'll do it later.
Yeah.
It's so easy to listen to.
It feels harmless,
Yeah.
but it's maybe the biggest self-lie there is. The sources argue pretty forcefully that later isn't a real time. It's just fear, or maybe laziness wearing a mask of future intention.
Right.
So when you keep saying later, what you're actually saying deep down is, I don't really want to do this at all.
And if later just stretches out and becomes never, what's the end result? What's the cost? The sources have a powerful word for it: regret.
Yes, regret. Described as possibly the worst pain imaginable.
Yeah.
Because it's not just sadness, it's the crushing realization of potential you squandered, time you can never, ever get back.
Yeah.
Just picture it. Waking up years down the road and knowing your biggest dreams just evaporated. Because you kept pushing the start date. That fear, that has to be the fuel you use today.
Okay, that urgency makes a lot of sense. But, the immediate reaction for a lot of people, especially when they're looking at huge goals, is I can't, or I didn't get the right chances. I don't have the resources.
Right, the blame game.
Exactly. Which brings us to the second big lesson: taking full personal responsibility.
This is absolutely foundational. You have to stop the blaming and start the building. Your life, its trajectory, it's all on you. Not your upbringing, not your parents, not the government, not your circumstances. It's a really radical mind shift.
It's huge and difficult, right?
Yeah.
It feels safer somehow to point fingers elsewhere. So what separates the builders from the blamers?
Well, the builders, they adopt this very specific mindset. The sources call it something like the I will create something from nothing principle. They just don't waste energy grieving what they didn't have.
Instead,
They harness that feeling, that hunger, that fire, maybe even that unfairness, and they use it.
you look at examples like, say, Oprah Winfrey. Born into serious poverty, faced terrible abuse. She had every reason, societally speaking, to blame her situation and just aim low.
Absolutely, every reason.
But she chose responsibility. She chose to build relentlessly. And look what she created.
And it wasn't about innate genius or some lucky break.
Yeah.
It was that fundamental choice she made. My future is my responsibility, regardless of the hand I was dealt. That switch from feeling like a victim to taking ownership, that's the first absolutely critical step for anyone listening right now.
Okay, so if radical responsibility is step one, the foundation, how do we actually make change stick? How do we build momentum? This leads us straight to the power of consistency, right? And this idea of the keystone habit and the law of 100.
Yeah, the keystone habit idea is really interesting because it taps into how habits are all interconnected. Think about an archway, like a stone arch.
Okay.
The keystone is that central wedge-shaped stone right at the very top. If you pull that one stone out,
The whole thing collapses.
exactly, the whole structure fails.
So translating that to habits, how does fixing one habit help with others? What does it actually do?
Well, it seems to work in a couple of ways. First, nailing one hard thing, let's say, forcing yourself to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day.
Yeah.
It gives you this feeling of having won early. It frees up mental bandwidth.
Right, you feel capable.
You feel competent. And second, maybe more importantly, it builds what psychologists call self-efficacy. That's the belief in your own ability to actually do things, to succeed. And that feeling, that confidence you get from mastering one area, like working out consistently, it spills over. Suddenly it's easier to skip that extra drink or to tackle that daunting project at work.
It's like a positive domino effect, a ripple. So if my keystone is, say, exercising every day, that one action might naturally lead me to eat better, sleep better, have more energy, even if I didn't make separate vows about diet or sleep.
Precisely. And the law of 100 gives you the framework, the mechanism to really install that habit permanently. Pick that one single high-impact keystone habit, and you commit. 100 days straight. 0 days off. None.
100 days, that feels like a long time. Why 100? You often hear things like 21 days or 30 days.
Well, the sources suggest 100 days is what it takes to move a habit beyond just conscious effort, beyond discipline, into the realm of automaticity. It's about rewiring the brain, basically. leveraging neuroplasticity.
Okay, let's unpack neuroplasticity a bit. We hear that term thrown around. Functionally, what does it mean here?
Okay, imagine your brain is like a really dense jungle, thick forest everywhere.
Right.
Your current habits, especially the bad ones, hitting snooze, mindlessly scrolling, those are like wide, smooth, paved highways through the jungle. Super easy to travel. Your brain loves the easy path.
That makes sense. That's why bad habits feel effortless. So the 100-day challenge is building a new road.
Exactly. For the first, few weeks maybe, you're basically taking a machete and hacking a new path through the thickest part of the jungle. It's hard work. It requires intense focus, willpower.
Yeah, you feel the resistance.
Totally. But through sheer consistency, day after day, your brain starts to realize, oh, okay, this is the path we're using now. Neuroplasticity is the brain's amazing ability to prune back the old, unused trails, those neural pathways, and reinforce the new ones.
So by day 100?
By day 100, theoretically, that rough machete path has become smoother, maybe even paved. It becomes the new default. It's automatic. You don't need massive willpower anymore. You just do it. Motion takes over.
So success isn't really about being smarter or luckier or richer according to these blueprints. It's just about being the most consistent.
Consistency is the great differentiator. It compounds. That 1% improvement every day for 100 days, the end result is huge, way bigger than the initial effort might suggest.
We tend to overestimate what we can do in a week, but drastically underestimate 100 days of steady effort.
Absolutely. Most people quit right before it gets easier.
And there's a practical tool I mentioned to help keep that consistency going. The Seinfeld method.
The story goes, Jerry Seinfeld used this for writing jokes every day. You get a big physical wall calendar, not an app, something you can see.
Right, tangible.
Tangible. And every single day, you successfully complete your chosen keystone habit. You draw a big fat X over that date, preferably in red ink.
And the goal?
The goal becomes incredibly simple. Don't break the chain. Just keep that string of X's going.
It makes it visual. You see the streak building, and the thought of having a gap, of breaking that chain that creates its own pressure to just do the thing, even on days you really don't feel like it.
Exactly. It shifts the focus from this huge, abstract goal of transformation to the very concrete, immediate task of just putting one more X on the calendar today.
That structure, that consistency, it feels like the perfect bridge to the next big challenge, which is developing the right mindset for execution. Because even if we know what to do and commit to consistency, we can still get trapped, right? Especially in overthinking.
Oh, analysis paralysis, it's rampant. People read 50 books on a topic, buy all the best gear, map out the perfect multi-stage plan.
And they feel exhausted before they even start.
Totally. They become that classic example.
Yeah.
The person who knows everything about swimming, has the best swimsuit, the goggles, the cap, but never actually jumps in the pool.
I know that person. Maybe I am that person sometimes. They confuse all the planning with making actual progress. So what's the fix? The tactical solution?
It boils down to one word: momentum. The rule offered is pretty stark. Think for 10 minutes, plan if you must, but then act for 10 hours. Prioritize doing.
Action over analysis.
Action absolutely kills fear. Thinking just feeds it.
Yeah.
You have to build a habit of starting first, then refining as you go. Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction every time.
And that action, almost by definition, has to push you outside your safe zone.
Your comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's comfortable, but it's also where potential goes to die. Silently. It feels safe, it's predictable, but nothing grows there. It's barren ground.
I liked the seed analogy they used for this. A seed might feel safe and cozy buried in the soil, but if it stays there to stay safe, it never becomes the tree it's meant to be. It has to push through the discomfort, break the surface, face the wind, the sun, the risk.
We have to completely reframe how we see discomfort and failure. You gotta learn to fail proudly, fail forward, use it as data. If you're not feeling challenged, if things feel too easy, you're probably not growing. You should almost seek out something that feels a little uncomfortable every single day.
But one of the biggest things holding people back from embracing that necessary discomfort is comparing themselves to others. The comparison trap, it just sucks the confidence right out of you.
Oh, it's lethal. Comparison truly is the thief of joy. And it's so deceptive because of what we compare. You're taking your messy 24/7 reality, the struggles, the doubts, the behind-the-scenes footage.
Right, the blooper reel.
Exactly. And you're stacking it up against someone else's carefully curated 15-second highlight reel they put online. It's not a fair fight.
We forget that what looks like effortless overnight success for someone else was probably built on years of grind and failure that we never saw.
It's like that analogy, a sunflower looking at a rose and feeling bad it isn't red, or the rose wishing it were tall like the sunflower. They both forget they're beautiful and valuable in their own unique way. The only person you should be comparing yourself to is who you were yesterday or last month. Focus on your path, your progress, not someone else's snapshot.
Okay, so action, consistency, embracing discomfort, avoiding comparison, Underpinning all of this, though, is willpower, right?
Sure.
How do we stop our feelings, I don't feel like it today, from derailing the whole thing?
You have to internalize this. Your feelings are often liars. They're terrible guides for long-term goals. You're just not going to wake up every day fired up to do the hard thing.
No way.
Willpower isn't a fixed trait. It's a muscle. It gets stronger when you use it. You train it by forcing yourself to act, even when motivation is completely absent, especially then.
And crucially, the sources really hit this point hard. You don't need to believe in yourself before you start. Belief isn't a prerequisite for action.
That is so, so important. If you wait until you feel confident, until you believe, you might wait forever. You just have to start.
And the belief follows.
The belief follows the evidence. Your brain sees you taking action day after day and the confidence catches up. You just start and you refuse to stop. And you have to recognize that often, right when you feel like you're hitting a wall, like it's a total breakdown.
Yeah.
That's often the exact moment just before a major breakthrough.
Wow.
Most people quit 5 minutes before the miracle happens.
That intensity, that refusal to quit, that perfectly sets up the 6-month blueprint. This feels like the advanced level, moving beyond just installing one habit to really aiming for a total life transformation.
Yeah, this is about 6 months of absolutely relentless, focused execution, no deviations. The claim is it can fundamentally change everything, but it demands you kill that mental escape hatch of someday.
Someday,
Right, someday isn't on the calendar. It's not real.
So for this 6-month push, what's the absolute first non-negotiable element?
Total ruthless control over your time. Every single moment, every hour has to serve the mission. That means identifying time-wasting activities, low-value stuff, and just cutting it out. Cold turkey.
That requires setting some serious boundaries.
Massive boundaries. And understanding there's no neutral gear. You're either moving forward towards your goal with every decision, or you're sliding backward. Every choice counts.
That level of awareness and saying no to things, potentially disappointing people, that's tough for many.
You have to decide. Do you value your mission, your transformation, more than temporary social comfort? If you want extraordinary results, you simply cannot keep living an ordinary, accommodating life. It doesn't work.
Which leads straight into the next pillar, mastering discipline. Because if we just rely on feeling motivated,
You're doomed to fail. Discipline has to be stronger than your fleeting emotions. Winners, the sources say, they don't wake up and take a poll of their feelings. Do I feel like executing my plan today? No, they just execute, period.
motion creates emotion.
That's the key insight. Motion creates emotion. You don't wait to feel good to run. You run, and then you feel good from the endorphins, the accomplishment. The action itself generates the positive feeling you were waiting for.
Okay, so we've got time control, iron discipline. The next piece of this 6-month plan is about raising your standards. Not just working hard, but demanding excellence.
Exactly. What you tolerate in your life becomes your baseline reality. If you tolerate mediocrity in the small things, a slobby email, a messy workspace, putting off that slightly awkward conversation, that tolerance inevitably seeps into your bigger goals.
So you have to aim higher across the board.
You have to operate at the absolute highest level you're capable of consistently. Because real growth only happens under pressure, under demand. You start to almost chase discomfort because you're demanding excellence from yourself in every single area.
That's a significant shift, going from just getting the job done to doing the job with excellence. That takes more energy, surely.
It does initially, but it builds a different kind of energy. Confidence. When you know you're operating at your peak, consistently giving your best, those mental blocks, the self-doubt, they start to crumble.
And the final ingredient for the 6-month transformation seems to be urgency. Speed. Why is moving fast so critical?
Speed matters because hesitation is the enemy of momentum. When you move fast, make decisions quickly, act immediately. You basically shrink the window of opportunity for self-doubt and procrastination to creep in.
Interesting.
High performers get this. The faster you execute, the more feedback you get, the quicker you learn, the more momentum you build. While other people are still stuck in meetings, debating the perfect approach, perfecting the presentation, you're already 10 steps down the road, implementing, maybe making mistakes, but learning and adjusting way faster.
That's relentless execution in action. Velocity matters.
Precisely. It's about becoming someone who acts decisively, not someone who waits and reacts.
Okay, so let's try to synthesize this whole deep dive for you, the listener. Transformation seems to rest on 2 core pillars. First, it's about building that foundation through consistency, that 100-day non-negotiable sprint to lock in a keystone habit.
Lock it in until it's automatic.
And second, it's about the longer game, the 6-month overhaul, which demands disciplined execution day in and day out, all fueled by taking absolute personal responsibility for your life.
And maybe the most empowering, yet slightly brutal insight from all this, it's the idea that basically nobody cares. Nobody is watching your journey as closely as you think. And that, counterintuitively, is your greatest power.
That sounds harsh at first, but yeah, I can see how it's actually incredibly freeing.
It is. Think about it. People are overwhelmingly consumed with their own struggles, their own goals, their own internal battles. They don't have the bandwidth to track your every move.
So what does that mean for you?
It means you're free. Free to fail spectacularly. Free to look foolish sometimes. Free to stumble, get back up, try again, pivot. All without needing external validation or applause. You can actually use that feeling of anonymity, maybe even loneliness or past pain, as your private, potent fuel.
That focus on the unseen work, the private struggle, it brings us to that final thought we wanted to leave you with. It's the story of the Chinese bamboo tree.
Ah, yes, a great metaphor.
You plant the seed, right? And you water it every day. You tend to it, protect it. And for 1 year, 2 years, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years, you see absolutely nothing, no growth above the soil. It looks like nothing is happening.
But underground, all that consistent, unseen effort, the daily watering, the non-negotiable habits you've been building, that law of 100 you didn't break. It's been developing this massive, intricate root system, deep work.
And then, because you kept showing up, because you committed to that relentless execution, when the growth finally breaks through the surface, it's not gradual, it's explosive. The bamboo shoot can grow, 80 feet in just 6 weeks?
Incredible, isn't it? Your potential isn't just sleeping. It's like a storm-gathering force beneath the surface. So the question for you is, what small, non-negotiable action, your first keystone habit, will you commit to starting now, today? Knowing that you're just warming up, just watering the seed, and that your breakthrough, if you just don't break the chain, is essentially inevitable.
Start the clock.